this thing, man. Now, so you got the universal church. You got the local church of the assembly. Watch this, Stephen. The third one you have, and this is the most important, is the individual church. I wonder who he's talking to here. And I tell you, hey, this is a conversation between him and Peter. Him and Peter having a conversation. Peter, I'm going to build up my ministry in your life. I don't want you to think he was telling Peter to incorporate. Go find you a building somewhere. Go get you some drums and try to get you a choir. Is that what he was telling him? No, man. Start at this time and pass the offering plate. Now, Peter, don't forget to pass the plate. Come on. See, we have gotten so consumed with the organization of church, we don't even know what church is anymore. During this time, there was no organization of church. You had Judaism that had gathered in a synagogue, but that was already in place. So how is he going to build something that's already in place? So he's not talking about that. They ran church better then than we run it now. So he wasn't talking about that. Peter, I'm going to build up something in your life. Jason, I'm going to build up something in your life. I'm going to build up something in your life. And then I'm going to have all y'all come together locally, and y'all going to build something up together. And then we're going to go there, and y'all going to build up something. Now, watch this. I'm just going through church history. Am I helping anybody? He said, build my church, build my church. All right. Now, when the church first started, they met in the house. It was the house church. There wasn't no Catholic church. There wasn't no Protestant church. They met in somebody's house. Met at your house around the table. Now, watch this now. There was no pastors. There wasn't no deacons. That wasn't a church, man. That wasn't in place. That's not how that went. All they had was the folk house. And they meet at somebody's house. Whoever was kind. Even when you read the great church growth in the book of Acts, it said, and they went from house to house. And so what ended up happening in the history, and I'm saying this, that as we go forward, I want you to understand what the church is and what your role is in the church, because the real foundation and the place where we are energized, the church, is in the church. See, I got a cell phone, but I have to plug that cell phone up every now and then. And the Android end and the iPhone ends, they just not the same. Both of them connected to power, but I can't tap into this one. I have to have this end to tap into power for my situation. You understand what I'm saying? So when you understand the church and understand the power that is invested in the church and your role as the individual church, you know how to tap into that and release that power through your situation. So the church began, and there were house churches. Now watch this. Now, the house in this day and time, biblical days and time, it was the domain of the woman. You better catch that. The house church was the domain of the woman. Guess who ran the house church? Take a while, I guess. The women. There's some interesting stuff there. See, the women of God have been strategic forces at the forefront of change for the church. Now, I'm not saying anything bad about men or anything, but the worship that a woman is able to boldly go into has been at the forefront of cataclysmic change in the spirit. I want you to see what he said he was building. So the house church began to begin. Somewhere around 100 AD, then they began to try to make some sense of all of these many house churches. All did it a little bit differently. Somebody stay with me. And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. I said all that to say, it is time to raise up the house churches in your life. It is time for you to be the church. That is where, and I don't mean, watch this now, I don't mean do stuff around here, sweep the floor, come sing a song. This is the local church. I'm talking about the individual church of your house. God is raising up something. He's raising up a ministry through your being, that people you can touch, I never touch. That people you can communicate to that I'll never be able to communicate to. Some of the greatest pastoral influences in my life throughout my generation, such as Billy Graham. I talked to someone under 35, they don't even know him. Don't know him. Billy Graham who? What did he do? When was he born? Don't even know him. Now what's the beauty of that? Somebody else better rise up so we can reach this new generation. Don't even know him. Never heard of him. Went all over the world. Don't know the man. I talked to a few individuals, all different culture groups. I would say about under the age of 29. I asked them, do they know TDJ? Nope, never heard of him. Ain't that something? Of how fast it'll skip. Now the beauty of that is God is always raising up people. And it's this time, it's this hour. I want you to see that you are next in line. I want you to see that you as an individual seated in your chair, you are next in line for the great move of God to be on display in the earth.